And hello, Miss Terlin.
Get the hearts going. Hello from Montreal. Bonjour, bonjour. Well, hello. So let's get started because we've got quite a few people on, and I feel like everyone knows Laura. I mean, Laura is industry icon, and we're so happy that she's representing Tourism Australia. Thank you so much through Vox. We really appreciate it. And you guys are in for a treat today because we love when we host our friends at Tourism Australia. We always learn something new. They
Mhm.
are definitely the experts. And Laura's going to go over kind of a little bit of how to start and how to learn the areas and the regions. But I know Laura has not one, but two great things that you can win today. Correct, Laura?
Yes, we do. Of course, for attending today, you have the opportunity to win a fabulous $50 gift card of your choice through Spoiled Agent and Tourism Australia. But today is also a perfect opportunity to be tuning in to learn about Australia because we do have a really good incentive going to the end of August for our Aussie Specialist Program. And for those who have done it in the past, you know how easy it is to do. It's less than a movie. It takes less than a movie to do the program. It's like an hour and a half. Grab a glass of wine, so maybe a nice Australian wine, do the program, and you could also win some extra prizes. We have three other prizes that we're doing a draw for at the end of the month for a beautiful gift from Australia with some really, really nice products worth $100. We have a $75 gift card for second place and a $50 gift card for third place. So lots of prizes, lots of ways to win with Australia today for sure. So great time to be tuning in.
So just to kind of identify, so to join and become a specialist before August 31st, you'll find out
Mhm.
from Laura through after August 31st. To win today, you guys have to stay on the question period to win the $50 Your Choice gift card.
Yes.
If you're joining us on Facebook, I think everyone knows here on Facebook, I see all the familiar names. Please put your email in the comments. And if you're joining us on Zoom, we've got you covered because you registered. So we have your email, not to worry. Okay. And I also want to direct everyone, if you do have any questions for Laura, we're going to take them at the end, but please only use the Q&A box for questions. We'll keep the hellos, the oohs, the ahs to the chat
The chat.
box because the chat moves up, right, Laura? And we're not going to be able to
That's
see
right.
it
We don't always see it exactly. We're
for
question and
sure.
answer. We know we're gonna catch those questions for sure.
And as Laura chats, I'm going to put in some contact information, how you can become an Aussie specialist before the end of the month to qualify to maybe win another prize. So, and how you can find Laura's supplier page on Spoiled Agent. And just a little quick tip, you just go to spoiledagent.com. You have to register, but I believe you all have registered. And then you just go down to tourist boards and you click on that. And that's where you're going to find Laura and the whole team. And we're talking to Laura today, but we also know there's Gustavo who's in the West. And we'll also be putting Gustavo's information also in the chat as well. Okay. So over to you, Miss
Perfect.
Laura.
Thank you. And I am going to turn my camera off because I know sometimes I'm small town Ontario. Sometimes my internet's not always the greatest. So I want to make sure that we don't have any issues with delays. So I'm just going to switch my video off for now and I'll turn it back on at the end. But do put your questions in the chat box or in the question and answer box. And of course, the chat box is there for any other comments you have. So thanks so much for joining us today. As Susan mentioned, my name is Laura Hamry, and I am the account manager, Aussie Specialist Trainer for Eastern Canada. Before we get started, though, I do want to just do an acknowledgement of countries. So we're sharing, of course, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander history, heritage, and culture, and it is a key part of Tourism Australia's focus. So in doing so, we acknowledge the traditional owners of the country through Australia and their connections to land, sea, and community, and we pay our respects to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander elders, past, present, and emerging. So for those of you who are on the call today, this is kind of a one-on-one session. We're wanting to make sure that you get to have a little good overview of Australia. So one of the key things from Canada is how do we get there? You know, what are the flying times like? So approximate flying times, and what's so great now is that we have so many more options when it comes to flying to Australia from Canada. There's direct flights from the West. We have Vancouver, 14 and a half hours flying time. We are about 15 and a half hours to Sydney and about via Auckland, which of course our friends at Air New Zealand, as well as also Fijian Airways has some really great options now as well. we're looking at about 19 hours with a 2-hour layover. So again, lots of options for direct flights as well as connecting flights with our friends through New Zealand, Fiji, and of course direct through with Qantas and Air Canada to Australia. So this is a really good overview of what the size of Australia is. And I like this one. I've actually had this redone. So it's comparing to us here in Canada versus the US, which as you can see, Australia is a pretty big country, just like Canada. You know, when we have people come over to Canada and they think, oh, I'm going to do all of Canada in a week. Well, they try, but it's going to be a bit of a challenge. Same thing for Australia. So the main point I want to stress here is that showing Australia is that it is a big continent. It is essentially an island, but people like to think it's small, but it is a mistake because as you can see, it is a large, large country. Having said that, though, it is possible to visit Australia in a fairly relative short period of time. It just takes that careful planning. And what is really great, though, is that when clients do tend to go to Australia, is that they love it so much that they're going to want to go back and see other things that they didn't get to see on that first trip. So we do get a lot of repeat visitors to Australia. It's actually about 62% of travelers who visit Australia end up going back and visiting Australia again a second time. So of course, that's great news for you because it's going to mean repeat business for your clients and for you. So when it comes to flying times, as I mentioned, you know, it is similar to Canada when it comes to the distance traveled. So from Sydney to Perth, it's actually 4.5 hours. So it's very comparable from flying from like Toronto to Vancouver. Sydney to Cairns is 3 hours. And then from Sydney to Ayers Rock into the Uluru region is going to be about 3.5 hours. So it is quite a distance. Flying from Melbourne to Darwin takes about 4.5 hours. So again, it gives you a bit of an idea that, you know, you do have to take that into account when it comes to your clients traveling to Australia and to make it really more realistic on what they can see when they're in destination. So getting around Australia is also, of course, part of the experience. And, you know, there really are lots of great opportunities and ways to do so. So, of course, driving. Driving does give your travelers that freedom and flexibility to travel when they want and where they want. And it is very easy to get around. So you just have to remind your clients, though, that in Australia, they do drive on the left-hand side. So not, you know, not the wrong side, the left-hand side. And of course, roads are mainly paved, even in the red center, and they are well marked. But it is something to keep in mind that distances, you know, they have to keep that in mind when they're traveling across the country by car. Flying, of course, again, great option when it comes to traveling huge distances in a short period of time. Flying is really usually the most easy way to do so. It is accessible through international and regional airports. And of course, flying is also good value for money when it comes to, depending, of course, on how much time they have to travel around Australia. Another great option is coach touring. So coach touring does provide great value for money because it does include, of course, the transport, accommodation, sightseeing, and generally some meals. And of course, passengers like it because you pay that one price up front. And of course, we have lots of great travel partners, tour operators who sell amazing tours to Australia. And of course, for you, that means that everything that's part of that package price is commissionable. It's also a great option for your solo travelers because they're getting to travel with those like-minded individuals. Australia is also home to some iconic train journeys, and it is a great way to travel between cities. Two of the most popular that are offered, of course, are the Great Southern Rail, which operates two famous trains, including the Indian Pacific, which travels from Perth and Sydney via Adelaide. And then we have the GON, which goes from Adelaide and Darwin via Alice Springs. And a really cool fun fact is that 70% of the passengers on these trains are actually Aussies. So it is a great way as well for your clients to meet and get to know us, the Australians, which of course are really fun, friendly, amazing people who love their country and love to share it with their fellow travelers. So Australia does have two key zones. They have the temperate zone and the tropical zone. So we're going to first on the temperate zone. And this is basically, and both of these regions are bisected by the Tropic of Capricorn. So generally speaking, there are 4 seasons in these areas, which of course are the opposite to those of us here in the Northern Hemisphere. So right now, Australia is in their winter season, where of course we're here in our summer. So summer is between December and February. And visitors can expect warm to hot weather and humidity in parts. It's a great time to visit as there are many outdoor events and festivals, and you can expect an average temperature of 27 degrees Celsius in Sydney. So really, really nice temperatures. In the winter, it's between June and August, and the Australian winters, of course, are much more mild than us here in the northern hemisphere. Typically, you won't experience snow in the cities, and there's usually still plenty of sunshine, and the temperature remains relatively mild during the day. Nighttime temperatures can drop a bit, so it is recommended that visitors do bring a jacket and coat. In the desert regions, such as Alice Springs, they experience very high temperatures, of course, during the summer. And in the winter, the desert regions are usually quite mild, but nighttime can be very cold with freezing temperatures. So again, just something to keep in mind when you have clients traveling to Australia. The tropical zone, so this is the region, of course, that's above the Tropic of Capricorn, and it has two seasons typically here, the tropical summer and the dry season. So the region that encompasses this includes such areas as Cairns, Darwin, and the top end, as well as Broome and the Kimberley. So a tropical summer is November to March. Expect very hot and humid conditions during this time. Sometimes you'll get tropical downpours that tend to occur later in the afternoon. There's sometimes some really amazing storms for your clients who like to do some storm watching. Swimming in the ocean in these regions outside of the protective nets is typically not recommended because there is a higher increase of jellyfish at that particular time of the year. And then also some of the national parks are also not accessible during this time as the water levels can cut off some roads. The dry season is from April to October. So these are usually perfect conditions. You've got warm and dry weather during these months and low humidity. And it's the perfect time to explore these areas and experience the outdoor festivals and events that take place. So just a recap of the capital cities. So Australia is made up of 8 states and territories. So we start out with Victoria, Melbourne, then move on to New South Wales, which is, of course, Sydney. Tasmania has Hobart. Western Australia is Perth. We have our Australian Capital Territory, which is Canberra. And the Northwest Territory is Darwin. Southern Australia, Adelaide. And then, of course, Queensland is Brisbane. So that just gives you a little bit of an overview of the geography and where the capital cities are located for each state. So why would your clients want to visit Australia? Well, I say, why not, right? It's definitely one of those bucket list destinations. So Tourism Australia is constantly conducting consumer research around the globe to see where Australia ranks when it comes to consumer sentiments versus competitive destinations. So a few interesting points that I think you might find interesting. Australia is voted consistently one of the most desired destinations on Earth. It is the #1 destination associated with being a safe and secure destination, which we all know is really popular for our clients to know that they're going to be in a safe, secure destination. It is the #1 destination as well associated with having world-class nature and wildlife. And it still holds the top position for world-class aquatic and coastal experiences. It also maintains its association, of course, with good food and wine, along with other destinations like Italy, France, and Japan. So before we get into some of the reasons why people love Australia, let's start off with some basics. What do consumers typically want at a vacation? So no matter where consumers are looking to travel, there are usually several key points that are the main deciding factors that contribute to a final decision for a vacation destination. So of course, these include your safety and security, value for money, attractions, unique things to do, great food and wine experiences, natural beauty and wildlife, and of course, let's be honest, there is a bit of a truth in all of us that we want the bragging rights. Australia is an aspirational destination to visit, and people do love to talk with people who visited the country. Australia, of course, offers all of these factors and more. So, beautiful beaches and coastlines. So a couple of quick facts. Did you know that Australia is home to over 10,000 beaches? And if you were to visit a new one every day, it would take you 27 years. I don't know about you guys, but I could totally handle being a beach bum in Australia for 27 years to check out all those 10,000 beaches. If you feel the same, let us know in the chat. Do you know that the Great Barrier Reef is the only living organism that's visible from space and stretches over 1,400 miles along the Queensland coastline. That's about the length of the west coast of the USA, which again, pretty spectacular. So now let's move into a little bit of myth busting. Australia is a place that many people want to visit, but there's often a reason why they're holding back and not turning that dream into reality. So let's go ahead and dispel some of the myths and discuss some of the ways you can address that common barriers and turn that desire into an actual experience they will never forget. So some travelers assume they don't have a lot of time, for vacation, that they'd never even consider a trip to Australia. Well, in reality, you can actually experience Australia in a short amount of time. A 10 to 14-day vacation is a good amount of time to allow visitors to really experience a few key locations at a leisurely pace. And as previously mentioned, 62% of visitors to Australia will make that return visit. So the next time they come down under, they can visit a few more locations. It is important, of course, to educate your clients that it's not practical to see the whole country in one trip, just as we looked at that map earlier. It really is like saying a European coming to Canada and trying to experience it all in one trip. It's hard to do. So that's why it's always great to have that opportunity for repeat business. And as a rule of thumb, we say for every 2 weeks your clients are in Australia, they should see a maximum of 3 destinations. So for example, a lot of first timers will do Sydney and then move into the Red Centre to Uluru, and then of course checking out the Great Barrier Reef. Myth that comes up is that it will cost a lot. So a trip to Australia does not need to cost a fortune. Of course, there are costs. The costs can vary depending on what your client's travel preferences are in their budget, but it is worth remembering that many of the best experiences in Australia are completely free. So from seeing a roo in the wild, or for going to experience one of those 10,000 amazing Aussie beaches. The quality of the accommodation and experience is also very high in Australia, so it doesn't ensure, of course, good value for money. And then we also have a pretty good exchange rate. So the Aussie dollar is pretty much on par with the Canadian dollar. So it's one of those destinations we can travel to and we don't have to worry about the exchange rates. Now that we, of course, helped you overcome your clients' objections when it comes to time and cost, let's find a few more reasons why there really is nothing like Australia. So the wildlife. There really is nothing like Australia's wildlife, right? Australia is home to animals absolutely nowhere else on the planet. So from those iconic kangaroos to emu, maybe a quokka if you're heading to the West Coast, spotting a native animal in the wild is just one of the many unforgettable wildlife experiences in Australia. And then we have the Indigenous cultures of Australia. So the Indigenous culture spans over 60,000 years. So an Indigenous experience offers the unique opportunity to connect with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures. It allows your clients to gain insight into Australia's history and traditions. And of course, they play an important role in shaping the country's identity. From Indigenous-led tours to contemporary performances and exhibitions, there are hundreds of unique and unexpected ways to experience the oldest living culture on Earth. Okay, no, we're kind of over lunch hour here in Ontario, but one thing for sure is you definitely do not want to be on a diet when you're visiting Australia. Australia does serve up some of the most spectacular fresh produce from farm and sea. It does have a really great thriving food and drink scene that is underpinned by award-winning winemakers, distillers, and multicultural chefs. The spectacular dining locations where your clients can savor innovative flavors are also incomparable. And did you know that Australia is home to some of the world's oldest vines and has over 60 wine regions? They also produce over 100 different grape varieties. So really, when you're coming to Australia, make sure you leave your diet at home. And hey, I think, when you're down under, calories don't count, right? Calories on vacation don't count, right, guys? So enjoy all that fantastic food and drink. And again, there's nothing like Australia's natural beauty, and we have plenty of wide open spaces to explore. Australia is a beautiful, diverse land of ancient landscapes, wild wilderness, and of course, natural beauty. So from unique World Heritage sites, desert outback, mountain ranges, and rainforests, Australia really is a unique land that will take your client's breath away. And of course, let's not forget the cities. Australia is home to some of the most beautiful, modern, vibrant cities. And of course, Australians themselves absolutely love to explore. So encourage your clients to really make like the locals and seek out shopping strips of local designers. There's lots of great little small bars hidden down laneways that your clients can discover. And of course, there's also amazing tours that are run by Aboriginal guides that really give you a unique spin on urban cultural experiences. Finally, lastly, but not least, most important is that, really a major selling point is that Australians are awesome and known around the world for their welcoming nature and adventurous spirits. They also have pretty good sense of humor. So if you haven't had a chance to chat with any, the Aussie lifestyle and its locals are down to earth, laid back, and optimistic. And the invitation to come and say good day is truly genuine. So, how is Tourism Australia helping you to sell this amazing destination? We have lots of great websites and things, which I'm just going to touch on. I know Susan's been sharing along the way with you as well. We do have our signature experiences of Australia. So, I really wanted to highlight this because this particular website has over 700 different partners. All of the activities and accommodations and everything you find here too are fully commissionable to you. They've all been vetted by Tourism Australia. And just to give you a recap here, we have 750 plus experiences. So really it is a great opportunity for you to go on and really know that if you're putting together something for your clients, that they are going to have an amazing time, that all of these have been vetted by Tourism Australia. And then we have our Aussie Specialist Program. So I know a lot of you who joined today are probably already Aussie Specialists, but if you haven't had that chance to be to do the program yet, as I mentioned, now is the perfect time to do so. The Aussie Specialist Program really has been designed to help you be more confident in selling the destination and to really help you to grow your business to Australia. So we regularly survey our agents who take the course, and our last results showed that actually the agent satisfaction rating was 99%. So we're very, very proud of this program. And of course, a few of the great selling features of this program are there's loads of great video clips. There aren't pages and pages of text to read, which I really find is great and why it's so interactive and easy to get through the program. You can really sit down and finish the curriculum in no time. Like I say, open up a nice bottle of Aussie wine, do the program and you'll be all set. And the benefit of that too is that our agents who complete the program typically have a 35% higher booking value to Australia after qualifying for the Aussie Specialist Program. So it is really easy to register. You just head over to our aussiespecialist.com website and sign up. And it really just takes a few minutes. We have so many great resources on the site. You'll notice that we do have now our program. It features shorter interactive modules. We have instructor-led classes. We have product training videos. We have itinerary suggestions. You can order collateral. There's just so many things that you can do through the website. We also have the feature where you earn badges. And the badges are great because maybe you want to be a specialist in luxury travel to Australia or adventure travel or family travel. You can take these badges and actually put them into your signature or share them on your social media pages so that your clients know that you are a specialist when it comes to selling Australia. And you also earn points, which is kind of cool. So these points you can take and trade those in for great material. You can get collateral. You maybe want to get a nice get a little ruby or a little Australian kangaroo, or you might want to pick up some other kinds of collateral or gifts or things like that that you can share with your clients once they book their trip to Australia. We also have our virtual Fam Hub. So our virtual Fam Hub gives you that opportunity to experience Australia from anywhere you are with interactive Fam experiences. So you can find this through the Aussie Specialist website. And then as an ASP, Aussie Specialist Program qualified agent, you'll also be invited to participate in 2 webinars each month that will keep you up to date with everything that's new in Australia. And for those who like to earn prizes, we always have contests going when it comes to our webinars. And actually, one of our agents in Canada just won a trip to Australia through Queensland for attending the Queensland webinar in July. So very, very exciting. So definitely worthwhile checking out. And of course, you know, if you want to have that opportunity to experience Australia firsthand, an Aussie Specialist is the way to do it. We have fans that come up, and I'll be talking about that in just a moment. But before I do so, just a recap of some of the great trade resources we have. We do have, again, that Aussie Specialist Program. We have our Trade Resources Hub, which has tons of, you know, toolkits and videos and our monthly hot list, things like that, that you can share with your clients. We have our 365 on demand, which again, it gives you that opportunity. Maybe you're wanting to go experience your Australia firsthand, and you want to put together your own fam kind of experience for you to go. You have that opportunity to make connections with lots of great partners in destination. We have our corporate website, which is where you'll find all of our event updates and more, the signature experiences, as I mentioned, and of course, our Discover Aboriginal experiences. So there's really so many great resources for you that Tourism Australia has put in place to make you successful when it comes to selling the destination. And then, as I mentioned, the Travel Trade Hub is where you're going to find that specialist program, the signature experiences portal. We've also included a new contact us and distribution and trade page that will give you all of the key market contacts, which of course you can find through Spoiled Agent as well, because we want to make sure that you have access to us and that we're always here to assist you. Our Asset Hub, again, if you're wanting to get some really great images or videos that you want to share to your clients through social media, you can find them here through our Asset Hub. And of course, also our YouTube page is a great resource for you as well. Our signature experiences, which we will be sharing as well in a separate email. And I believe Susan has shared with you in the chat, we have that there. And as I mentioned, fam trips. So once you have completed our Aussie Specialist Program, you will qualify for fam trips. So we have our Good Day Australia coming up in October this year, which we have 10 amazing travel consultants from across Canada will be joining me in Perth in October. But I know we are also working with the team on putting together some other fam opportunities. But again, to qualify for any of those experiences, you do have to become an Aussie Specialist. So there you have it. And I just wanted to put up our contact information. I know that this is being shared for you as well. So just to remind you of who the team is here in Canada, of course, you have Paul, which many of you know Paul, who is our account director for Tourism Australia. And you have myself, Laura, and you've got my contact information here. You can always, of course, follow me on Facebook if you haven't added me as a friend there. And then we have good old Gustavo in Western Canada. So we are all here to assist you and really help you to grow your Australian business. And just to recap, as we mentioned at the beginning, we do have that contest running right now till August 31st. That if you haven't had the chance to complete that Aussie Specialist Program yet, now is the perfect time to go in and do so, because once you complete it, you will have that chance to win one of 3 prizes. Beautiful gift basket with so many amazing products from Australia. Also, then, of course, that $75 gift card of your choice, and then a $50 gift card of your choice. So if you haven't done so, go in and do so. And that is a wrap. We can't wait to have you come and join us in Australia, and we look forward to all your clients coming to join us as well.
Laura, look at all the reactions. They
I
love
know,
you.
following along with all the hearts and everything throughout the presentation. It's great.
They
So
love
much great.
Gustavo. They love you. They love
Yeah.
Paul. They love the whole team.
That's awesome. Great. We love to hear that.
So we have a couple of questions. I just want to also mention a few comments, if that's okay. So
Yeah.
Jen said, it's such a great course. The new accessibility module is so fantastic. Jennifer, not the same person, said she took the course a few weeks ago, and the accessibility and all-inclusive inclusive Australia also were really fantastic, just so you know too.
Yes, that's actually a new course that we added actually just not long ago, was the accessible travel in Australia. And it's really been a key focus for Tourism Australia. So you'll notice actually on all of the social media sites and anything to do with Tourism Australia, we really are working hard to make the destination accessible and work with our partners on the ground, but also to work through the different channels to ensure that everybody's able to get the knowledge and to feel comfortable and know that they are going to have an amazing time when they come to the destination, because it's so important.
So a few questions on, there's also one on Facebook I'll take in a second. Bruce said, first of all, he made a comment that he loves Australia. And also his question
Yeah.
is, I'm working through the various levels of my Aussie specialist. I did the first group, working on the second group. Is there more after that? Good question.
So we have our fundamentals, and then we have our core programs. So we have two core programs for the tourism specialist program. And then from there, you really can branch out, right? That's where you can then now go in and specialize. So whether you're looking at maybe you want to focus on luxury travel. Again, there's different modules for that, or more active travel. We even have modules for cruising, because cruising is actually really increased in Australia. There's so many more cruise lines offering amazing itineraries that travel through Australia, and getting into some off the beaten track locations with some of the smaller, more niche cruise lines, like heading into the Kimberleys, for example. So it's really, there's lots of options when it comes to modules, for sure.
So
Never
Joanne,
get bored. There's always something to
for
learn.
sure. Joanne says on Zoom, future bucket list trip. But you know what, Joanne? Let's call that future shopping list. How's that?
That sounds good.
Okay, so Celine has a couple questions. We'll just go through them here quickly. So how do people apply for children's visas?
So Australia now does still require visas. There's an app that you have to use now. There's an Australian e-visa app. So you'll download that through either the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. And that's where you'll go in and apply for those visas through there.
Great. Is there a tourism or chamber of commerce office in Canada?
Part of it. So we're part of Vox International, which of course represents Tourism Australia and Canada. So we are your contact for Australia here in Canada. Yes. So if you have questions, you of course reach out to us. We're also able to assist you when it comes to, if you'd like to get some brochures or flyers or anything that you want to help to promote Australia as a destination, we're here to assist you with that. And we're happy to send out information. And actually, we have some beautiful, beautiful, I'd call them more like an editorial magazine. We have them in English, and we also have them in French. So if you have for English and French speaking markets, we have some really, really nice materials that you can, share with your clients to get them inspired about Australia.
Okay, great. And Celine, I'm sure if you need something in person, you can work something out with Laura to see if you have a group or
Absolutely.
anything like
Yes, of
that,
course.
for sure. You
Yeah.
can just reach out to Laura, because I know you're in
Yeah.
Montreal.
Yeah.
Okay. There's one over here on Facebook. Hi, Jen. Jen on Facebook's asking, is camping as a tourist possible?
Oh, absolutely. For sure. Yes, absolutely. And we have some great modules on great walks of Australia. When we talk about people wanting to do their own thing, I mean, still to this, quite popular are renting like RVs. RV travel is very popular in Australia. So people like to, they'll rent the RV, and they'll kind of, we have some great itineraries that are already kind of set up for you that you can then, use as a guideline for your clients, that they can then take and do the camping and the glamping kind of thing, for sure. Absolutely. And yes, lots of options.
Sure. Lots of people like glamping now, that's for sure.
Yes. Yes.
So Bruce has a question, if you see it here in the Q&A box. The app itself, can you just
Yeah, that
explain
is
it?
correct. It is the ETA app. That is correct. Yeah. So the app is called the Australia ETA app. So you can do it if you do a search for Australia visa app, you'll find it for sure. There is a cost for it, but it's a nominal cost. And again, you do have some things you have to input, like your passport and things like that, but it's very straightforward. So it's kind of taken the place of you used to be able to do it through Sabre or whatever, and do
Oh, yeah.
the way back in the day. I'm showing my age.
But I understand, so I'm showing mine.
Yeah.
So Sandra, that answered your question again. Do you mind just repeating the app again? Sorry,
It's the Australian ETA app.
Okay, ETA app, just so
Yeah.
everyone knows.
Yeah.
All right, no problem. And Jen, you're welcome for answering your question on Facebook. No problem at all. And let's just see here what else we have. Bruce, you're welcome, Bruce. We're glad we got that. Okay, so Celine, she just mentioned the whole visa process, so you just understood
It
that.
has been changed, actually. It changed, I guess it was might be 2 years ago now. During COVID time, changed this. So the visa process now must be done through the app. So if you have clients who don't have a smartphone, you may have to, but people have somebody that they can do
Help
it
them.
through. But it is a more secure process, and it is something that a change that they made.
Okay, and it's a new world. It's a new time, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, I think that's it. Is there anything else here? Thanks for the info. You're welcome, Celine. You're welcome, everyone. And
Yes.
don't forget, so Laura's left it up on the screen, which I think is a great idea. For those of you who have not become a specialist, what are you waiting for? She said it's like watching a movie. That's how less time it takes.
It is. It is. Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? It is it's super, like as I say, it's very interactive. It's not like, you know, some programs you go and you're like, you're read. You're like, oh my gosh. You can't read, you fall asleep because you're like, I can't remember where I went back to. But this is so interactive. They're small, like they're set up into separate little modules. You know, there's videos to watch, there's little quizzes along the way. So it really is a nice, easy, interactive process and keeps you engaged for sure.
And if you do it before August 31st, you're entered to win. So don't forget.
That's right.
And also, Laura, there's also one lucky spoiled agent for today that is going to win a
Yes,
$50, whatever they want, gift card. So if you
that's
get an
right.
email from Laura, it's very good news. How's that?
Yes.
And I know Laura's really great at sharing follow-up emails as well, and she'll include any links and things like that. And I always see them too, so I'm really happy that she's great with that. So, but I
Yeah.
want to thank Laura and all the
Thank you
spoiled agents
guys.
for joining us over lunch. We got a little hungry during that wine and food update, but
No, it's
you
all
know,
so good, right?
oh, so good. But I want to
Awesome.
thank
Well,
you all, and you guys are great partners to us, Laura. We love working with you all.
uh,
And thank
we
you,
love
everyone.
working with you too. And you guys, the Spoiled Agent team is fantastic. You know, shout out to Susan and Kelly and Sabrina and the whole team. They do so much, right? Like they're amazing. So we love to be a partner with Spoiled Agent. And of course, love all our agent partners who came on today. And we love having you. So great.
Wonderful. And we love everyone too. So thank you all. It's a big love fest today,
It
guys.
is a love fest.
All right, Spoiled Agents, thanks for joining us. Laura, say hi to the rest of the team, and we'll see you
Thank
soon,
you.
okay?
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.